I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, May the 25th. First of all, please pray for Uvalde, Texas, people. Brought to you in part by Vitalix. Delivering the highest value tub for your feed dollar has been their mission for over 30 years and is the reason ranchers across the country trust in Vitalix to impact the profitability of their operation. Plus, fly control can be added to most tubs. Get the blue tub. Visit Vitalix.com. Feedlots still current. Maybe we jumped the gun a little bit, saying that in the middle of May that we were going to see these huge numbers of new cattle coming onto the show list as we're starting to see the calves now, and I say the calves. Those calves that come out of mostly the northern plains, those real high genetic calves that once they were marketed were too large to go into any kind of stocker operation. They went right on to feed. You know, those are great cattle. They've got a lot of genetics to them, but they're young. Those cattle will not grade as well as far as quality grade as your cattle that are put on feed as yearlings. They're just not mature enough. And they're not as attractive to the packers. They kind of quit the guys a little bit earlier as they lose their efficiency in gaining weight. They put them on the show list. They want to get rid of those cattle. You're not going to make those cattle weigh 16 and still be getting along with them. But we are seeing some of those cattle hitting the show list, but it's not affecting the currentness of the feedlots, and they're not getting backed up on their show list. Why have we not gotten to that point? Aggressive marketing, aggressive slaughter, and we've never seen a time, not in the recent past, that our heavy show lists, which normally don't come till August, heavy show lists coincide with the faster chain speeds. But that's an interesting thing to look at, because we just didn't have enough places to put those cattle for winter forage. So we saw more cattle going into the feedlots at lighter weights. That's why we've been having these record numbers of cattle on feed for months and months here. But those cattle we're working through them. We're not backing them up, and nobody's complaining about being backed up. Now your market's going down. Why is the market going down? Well, your packers have had everybody convinced that the market was going to go down, so they're just giving up quicker. Also, 2 to 4 weeks ago, packers were buying a lot of cattle on the spot market for 2 to 4 week delivery. So now they've got those cattle right where they want them. They can pull those cattle, and their needs are not that much anyway. These AMAs, the sweetheart deals, all the formula marketing gives packers, you know, on the southern plains especially, about 90% of their needs. So they only have to fill in about 10%. That's not much. That's why we've been trying to get mandates for them to buy more cattle on a negotiated basis, so we could build that percentage of cattle that they need each week, so we could negotiate for higher prices. But in the southern plains, you know, 90% of their needs are filled. They don't need very many cattle. They've got all the feedlot convinced that the market's going to go lower, and guess what? They give up quicker, and the market's going lower. But not talking about anybody getting backed up. And we are seeing our carcass weights come down, so your packers are going to have to slaughter more cattle to keep the beef production at the same level, and you don't want to lighten up beef production at Memorial Day weekend. We're just now running into the time of the year where we see the biggest demand, especially for those muscle meat cuts to put on the grill. But we saw our average dressed steer carcass weights average under 900 pounds last week, posting at 898. That's for the week ending May the 7th. We are talking about in some of these bills, like your Price Discovery Transparency Act, that we need to start getting that information out quicker. And that we will see that happening sooner. It's no need to wait 2 weeks to unveil that information on your average dressed steer carcass weights. It's kind of like cattle on feed and everything else. USDA loves to put a cover over that information and then pull it back at a certain time and then watch the markets go crazy. Let's just give the information as it comes available. But you think that your average dress steer carcass weight nationwide is coming down. Look at Nebraska. Nebraska steer carcass weights have dropped 53 pounds in the last 4 weeks that were reported. Oh my goodness. Now that makes a big difference. So we are seeing those calves show up in Nebraska. Of course, that's where they come from. That's where they raise those good genetic cattle that just skip the stocker portion of their lives because they get so big at weaning, and then by the time they get those cattle weaned and ready to sell, they're just too big to do anything else with but go into the feedlot. But 53 pounds in less than a month? Wow. But I think we're saying that we could get through this a little bit easier if guys would just dig in a little bit. We're seeing the northern plains dig in. They're getting a $3, $4 to $7 premium for the cattle that they're selling the packers. And the heck of it is, they're not grading that much better. 3 or 4 percentage points better for that much money. But also we are seeing packers hauling cattle from Kansas up into Nebraska and Iowa plants for slaughter, which is costing them much more than usual because we've seen their diesel fuel get so high. They're still doing it, but probably not at the levels that we've seen in the past. But let's talk about your board on Tuesday. June live cattle futures down a nickel at 132.72. August down 22 cents at 132.72. We had a big up day on Monday, so I didn't lose too much there. But all your back months were from unchanged to up 37 cents. So pretty quiet day in your live cattle pits. How about May feeder cattle up $1.05 at 154.50. August up 2.52. Your all-important August up 2.52 at 168.15. We need to do that, guys. To need to be looking at your strike prices on your LRPs because with the futures price on your CME board going up, those are going to be going up a little bit. Those LRPs are bought off the board price and settled off the cash price, which is advantageous to you guys. But you look at your back months of feeder cattle up big, up 252 to 317 on your back months of CME feeder cattle futures. So we are gaining some because our corn was down big. We've had a lot of moisture, and now we've seen moisture in the southern plains. Unbelievable that we got a rain in the Texas Panhandle, and not just in the Texas Panhandle. They had seen a few spots of rain over the last several weeks in the northern Texas Panhandle, in the southeastern Texas Panhandle, up along the Oklahoma border there. But we got rain in the driest portions of the Texas Panhandle on Monday evening, and pretty decent rains. I mean, as good a rains as we ever get. 1.5 to 2 inches of rain, and it fell real nice, especially going from Amarillo down towards the southeast and southwest, going into like places like Hereford, Dimmitt, Muleshoe, going over there and getting some rain over there in extreme eastern New Mexico. So that's really great. We just don't get that very often, and I've been bitching about it so long that I have to give credit and praise Lord for sending us some rain in this part of the country. But going up through the Midwest there, after we saw our planting progress, your corn is backed off too, down 14.5 cents on Tuesday, ending regular trading at 7.71 3/4 cents a bushel. Beans up 6 cents a bushel at 16.93. Kansas City hard red winter wheat down hard from that southern plains moisture because we haven't seen any of it. Some people say it's too late to help that wheat much, but it still looks pretty green in most places, so I think it will help it a little bit. But your traders sure thought it was going to help it because Kansas City hard red winter wheat was down 38 3/4 cents a bushel, closing regular trading at 12.37 3/4. Fat cattle trade started to take place on Tuesday. Didn't have any trade at all on Monday. Started to take place on Tuesday. Just like we've been saying, Northern Plains guys that typically negotiate a bigger percentage of their cattle. Iowa negotiating, around 50%, and Nebraska, way up in the 30 percentile range. They've got a little bit of leverage. They're holding the market a little bit. Southern Plains guys just puke them every week. And it's funny to me that Texas Cattle Feeders and Kansas Livestock Association, they love it, apparently. I guess maybe they're working for the Packers too. Of course, a lot of those Kansas guys are Packers. And you look at how they're just, they're just happy to puke those cattle. We know that if we don't change something before 2026, we're going to go to net zero negotiated trade in Texas. If we don't do something like this Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act, if we don't do something, not going to be any negotiated trade at all in Texas. What are your fat cattle worth? Whatever your packers want to give for them. Iowa, 2,200 head negotiated on Tuesday from 140 to 142. That's in last week's range. It's not near the top, but it's in last week's range. And dress sales from 225 to 227, which is also within the range of last week's market. Nebraska, 1,500 head negotiated on Tuesday from 140 all the way up to 144 on some good cattle there. That's filling up that range pretty much the whole way there. I think we did have some 145, but maybe on just one or two deals. So that's fully steady in Nebraska. Early trading on Tuesday. Why would packers come out on Tuesday to buy cattle? Because they need them. How about Kansas? 5,500 head on Tuesday. Buck lower from 137 mostly to a few up to 137 and a half. Texas 6,100, puked them at 137. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Choice cuts down 63 cents at 263.65. Selects up $1.12 at 245.35. Slaughter 250,000 just through the first 2 days. That's 125,000 head harvest 2 days in a row. That's about as good as it gets these days, guys, right now. But 250,000 harvested so far through the first 2 days of the week. That's 1,000 better than the big week last week. 11,000 better than the same week a year ago. They're likely going to ramp that way up through the week, and then on Saturday we're hearing a lot of 3-day weekends. So who knows if they're going to let them kick off Saturday for a 4-day weekend. Probably not going to be a lot of slaughter on Monday, so they're buying for a short kill next week. But if they keep going 125 grand to crack, still going to be a pretty good week this week, and likely there'll be enough Saturday to keep that pretty respectable. What else is going on? 4 state stockyards in Exeter, Missouri. That's extreme southwest Missouri right there. They're having a special Brahman influenced replacement cow sale on Saturday, June the 4th at noon. I wanted to give you guys time to take a look at that. It's an exclusive sale. It's closed. They're not taking any more consignments unless you got a hold of them. You had a real exclusive deal there. But going to be many F1 Brayfords on offer there. Don't normally see those in that part of the country, but I know there's people that like to raise those up there. So you can take a look at that sale. You can get more information at dvauction.com. You can view and bid that sale on DV Auction on Saturday, June the 4th at noon. Talking about your feeder cattle markets, your real-time index on DV Auction. Late in the day on Tuesday, set at 150.26, up another 8 cents. Been up both days so far this week. Just a smidge, but still up. And that just goes to show that, like I told you on the last visit, your farmer feeders are bidding aggressively on feeding cattle, and they are going to feed some cattle. We've got tight receipts, not many cattle on offer, not many cattle, period, outside the feedlots. And we're seeing that, and we've pretty much run out of grazing type cattle already. We haven't even got to June yet, and you're not seeing many lighter stockers either. You see that in some of the trends. You look at your big sales, Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains, Missouri, 5,300 head. Big sale there in West Plains. Mostly calves. Steer calves sold steady to $4 higher because people can't find stockers. Heifer calves $3 to $6 higher, with spots as much as $12 higher on heifer calves. Including in that offering out of West Plains, they had 202 head of 616-pound stocker type steers, bring 194.75. That's higher than any of your northern plains, Nebraska, South Dakota sales, or anywhere like that in extreme south central Missouri, guys. Talk about individual quotes. I'm going to give you another individual quote out of Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains. 66 head of black steers weighed 831 at 157 and a quarter. You can throw a rock to Arkansas there, guys. That is not near mainstream cattle feeding, but a big time price out of West Plains, Missouri. How about some other spots? Spot we don't talk about very often. Holton Livestock Exchange in Holton, Kansas. Had the Heinhold cattle there. Old St. Joe Stockyard customer. I watched his cattle sell for 16 years there. But they had 167 black steers, weighed 937 at $150 in Holton, Kansas. How about Knoxville, Iowa? Knoxville Regional Livestock Auction there. Sold the Bay Farms cattle. 70 head of those steers weighed 762 and 166.75. Surely they're going to turn them out for a little bit. How about another Knoxville market over in Tennessee, actually in Mascot, Tennessee. I got a quote out of there on a killer bull. Big black Lemmy bull going for slaughter, weighed 1740 at $143, guys. Not a special deal. Major cow and bull killer there in Mascot, Tennessee, 143. Wow. You know, penny that up on a 1,740-pound bull. You guys might want to go into business just raising them. How about Huron Continental Marketing in Huron, South Dakota? They sold 2 loads, 124 steers, weighed 9 1/4 at $154.50. Think those farmer feeders aren't out banging on cattle? But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday, your Row Grow top quote for the day, come out of Imperial, Nebraska, Imperial Auction Market, 72 head of steers, weighed 665, must have had a stocker condition, at $189. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.